Hey siblings, it's your girl Jay from the comms team, and we are back with another episode. But today I have two special guests here with me.
Ka'Lee, she, her pronouns, and I'm with the Young Women Freedom Center, and I'm a fellow here.
Hi, my name is Trinity. I'm with the YoungWomenFree Center, and I'm a youth organizer.
So y'all already know what we're here for, another episode, but this time we're going to be talking about youth, the election, and what it means to be self-determined in our own lane. Today's episode will focus on the amendment that states we want to restore power back into our communities affected by the system. We want to lay our own paths free from punitive and controlling systems, and the right to input and voice around all services impacting our lives. Encouraging youth to utilize their voices by shifting and changing the narrative around resources and needs of the community. Now, let's get into our interview questions. And Trinity, I'd like to start with you.
Okay.
So, knowing what you know from your experience as a youth in the system, how do you think young people can be more involved or considered in the process of their release back into society? For example, a youth freshly coming out of juvenile hall.
I think I'll give experience from when I have got released from jail. So my experience is more reentry programs for young folk out there, because we could easily be tempted and go back to the streets and to, do dangerous stuff that brings us harm. I feel like young youth out there in our community from the voice of the streets, because we are the voice. We've been through poverty, we've been through injustice systems, we've been through everything. Something that these children will need more help with when getting released and coming home is more community programs to help them get job resources, a type of income, so they don't be swayed back into that lifestyle and feeling like, oh man, I gotta hustle because I still have no money.
Right.
I have to pay my mom bills. It's really like a helping hand. They need that extra counseling. So I would say, like, guide them towards more community programs to help them get on their feet, and just make sure it's someone sticking by their side to make sure they're not, being tempted to go back into that lifestyle.
More resources, less restrictions.
Yeah.
Sure. Ka'Lee, we'd love to hear from you. What does it mean to be in control of your own life decisions as a youth?
So I've been on my own since I was 14. I kind of been like real independent and not having like no support system, because like I'm formerly incarcerated youth and I am also formerly foster youth. But I had my mom in my life like back and forth, like in and out. She been in and out like all the adult facilities. So I would say, like, it feels good when you're able to do whatever you want and nobody could tell you anything. But it also brings back like, like wishing I had that kind of support to like guide me with these decisions that I choose to make, because you live, you learn. But I try my best to like uplift my peers and like the youth that I work with to like actually allow them to really think stuff through, like actually create goals and actually accomplish them, and think about like where they want to be, because it's like it's hard out here in LA. Like it's really hard.
I feel like pressure, especially when you like been impacted by the system. They expect us to come out from group homes or foster care or even juvenile detention and already have a plan. Like, so how are you going to turn it around? And I'm still young. I still need support. So with that being said, I want to ask both of you this question. What community programs or resources would you recommend to young folks coming out of incarceration or foster care / group home?
I definitely would recommend Young Women Freedom Center. They offered me like all support and opportunities to be able to travel. I've been able to use my voice to create alternatives for youth that don't have a voice and who need the support. Also, being the oldest of 7, it's like I've always given back. I've always, taken that role to like be a role model for those younger than me, same age, some older sometimes. And I've been like through a bunch of organizations, but I feel like the center has definitely seen my full potential. Me starting off as a participant, then being able to, go and travel and talk to like legislators and, people who actually like are in charge of like these programs that we have, to show them that this is actually working, to show them like I'm actually a leader. Like this is not like my life didn't end when I went to jail and I went to foster care. Like now being 20, it's like, dang, like girl, you got a lot. Like you got a lot going for yourself.
For sure.
And yeah, I just try my best to like really show that.
I really like how you touched on when you came here, you got put in places that you probably didn't even think that you would be in places, or talking to these legislators and policymakers, because like you said, they definitely have full control over essentially our lives, right? Exactly. So it's important that youth have the voice to let them know, like, hey, this is what we actually need. You don't know what we need. This is what we need. Yeah. So Ka'Lee, if you could speak directly to the legislators and decision makers about your community and the system, what would you say?
So I actually recently just had a visit at the Capitol with a legislator.
Okay, for what? What was it? What was the reason?
Well, it was Youth Day. I think it was like 15 orgs, or probably more than that. And we basically like just had a training about like how to speak on bills that had already passed. Like, I just talked about like my personal experiences. I feel like you gotta give them real raw. Like you can't go in there feeling all scripted and stuff, because it's like they probably already have that mindset. And then when they have people that's actually been through stuff, actually showing that they're doing something different to like create a better space for people, you know, system impacted people in general, trans youth, gender expensive, like just everybody. I feel like I tried my best to speak on, like, you know, my little brother right now, he's currently locked up, and I talked about how AB 505, we passed that bill last year, and how it's good to feel that he has somebody that he can go to when he can't call me or can't talk to me, because, you know, like being in juvie, like there's a lot of different stuff going on. There's a lot of allegations. There's a lot of like downtime going on in there. They don't have a lot of programs that they're running. And he normally comes to me with like personal mental stuff that he deals with. And the fact that I didn't hear from him for like 5-6 days, not being able to talk to him time at a time, like it just made me feel good that he had that, because when I was in juvie, like I didn't have the support that he's getting now, you know? I'm not gonna go in there and speak on nothing that I don't want to change. So
I know that's right. Trinity, can you explain a time you felt empowered and in control of your life while being impacted by the system?
This was back when I was in YA in like 2020. Is when we went out for like recreation. So on recreation, they always make us walk around the field in a circle. And you know, that's all we could do, because it's like, oh, we don't want anything to break out. We don't want, you know, fights to happen. But I took the initiative. I'm like, I'm tired of walking around in a circle, because that's what you want us to do. So I used my voice, and I think I got like some soccer balls, and I just started playing soccer with the whole unit. I got in trouble for it, but I didn't care, because in that moment, I felt like I'm in control. I may be locked down from your system and your laws, but I'm still a human being. So I have the right to feel free, no matter if I'm locked down or not. That's my right.
So you know how we have the Youth Bill of Rights that's going around inside of the juvenile halls right now?
Can you tell us a little bit what the Youth Bill of Rights, for our siblings that might not know what that is?
It's basically just to like educate all the youth that's inside right now, that's locked up, about their rights inside and out. It's crazy, because that's how I know it's effective, because my little brother really told me the other day on the phone that they have them and they're passing them out. So that's how I know that this is working and we doing something good, you know? I just wanted to uplift that, because it's just like, it's a lot of stuff that they do in there that they try to treat us like we not humans. Like, you know, like we come out with a whole mental space of a whole different, and it's like, all we want is good for ourselves. All we want is a better future, not to recycle and go right back in there because of the mindset that y'all trying to make us have.
Ever since the Youth Bill of Rights came out, every juvenile hall that is still open, all youth inside there are getting the material they need and the wisdom they need to do their time in a collective manner, knowing, hey, you don't have full control of me. So this is helping our sisters, brothers, and cousins.
For sure. I love that. Congratulations on the Bill of Rights.
Thank
dope.
you.
What would you guys like to see from the next president?
What I want to see from the next president of the United States is, I want to see change to oppress. We've been oppressed for so long. We've been in debt, our credit. I want to see just real growth and stability.
Opportunity for growth.
Yeah. I definitely want to see more like housing opportunities. I've been homeless before. My mom's been homeless before, and it's like the fact that you got to go through so much just to be able to get in an apartment complex or to be able to get in somewhere. It's like, it sucks. And seeing that all these homeless people out here and everybody just be so mad, I'm more so like, do something to change it. Like, you know, like, if you're gonna be the president, like, please do something different, because it's like we seeing the same stuff. All y'all doing is, okay, you're giving us a couple $100 more or whatever, that's it. But it's like, what is really changing, what is really helping our community. Like, y'all need to create better spaces in the school, more safety regulations and stuff.
My mom right now is like, why is she struggling to pay $400? She should not have to struggle just to pay $400. It's so messed up.
If young people moderated the presidential debate, what would y'all ask?
What benefits and resources will we receive in 2025 to help our young children, young adults?
Yeah.
What could we gain? We've been down so low. How will you help us?
Are you gonna offer more like mental health services?
Thank you.
Better mental health services, not just like making these facilities where people go in there and then they come out even crazy, or you're like saying that we're crazy and y'all giving us all this stuff that's not actually helping us.
How will you help the homeless out there with drug rehabilitation? There's people my age right now sitting down on the street.
I hope you hear that, President. We need support and resources. We don't need to be criminalized and incarcerated. Thank you so much. Before we end, though, I always like to ask for one piece of advice that you guys would give our siblings listening to it. Maybe that's a younger sibling or it's an older sibling or just to your future self. What would you say?
To my future self, girl, you're going to be that congresswoman soon. And we're going to be fighting for our city, our country, our state, all that. Like, period.
One piece of advice I would give is to follow your heart, step into your leadership, and listen to your elders around you because they'll lead you on the right path. And don't get swayed into temptation.
Thank you for joining us for another episode. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment below. And that's it for now. Ta-ta.